Hey folks, welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania, and I saw a video from earlier today in South Africa in the Eastern Cape near Fort Jackson on the N2 outside East London, where people are just jumping out of cars, staking claims to privately owned land, and just a free-for-all land grab. So we saw this at the beginning of February in Seshego, which is outside of Polokwane in Limpopo province, where these people just went out, staked claim to land, a privately held land, and said, this is ours. And we believe that the municipality of Polokwane will support us and deliver services to us here because we're expropriating this in the public interest, as President Ramaphosa said, could be done under the law. Of course, that's not what the law says. Expropriation without compensation is for the state to do. It's immoral, it's unconstitutional, but it's for the state to do, not for private individuals. Now, in the meantime, politicians throughout South African political parties, shockingly in some parties you wouldn't expect, as well as businesses and agricultural organizations have been gaslighting South Africans into claiming that there are no land grabs, there are no land seizures. And when you point out the actual ones happening, then they change their tone from, just like here, there was no fraud in the election, there was no widespread fraud. Well, they do the same thing. When you say there's land grabs and you prove it at Seshego in Limpopo, and you prove it today in East London or outside East London on the N2 by Fort Jackson, what they'll say there's no wholesale or widespread land grabs. But it doesn't matter. When you abrogate property rights, you destroy the very foundation of a society. And South Africa is quickly headed for Zimbabwe future if the government does not intervene quickly and get this under control. It's the responsibility of authorities to stop this land invasion. Will they do it? Well, if they don't, it's going to be chaos in South Africa, and this would be a horrific situation of epic proportions, which the world community cannot overlook. Now, I'm not predicting South Africa is going the way of Zimbabwe. I'm not telling you that at all. But in the past, whenever land invasions have happened, by and large, the government has intervened, particularly on state-owned land. And we know this. Entire security companies exist for the sole purpose of evicting people off of land. The Red Ants in Johannesburg. Frequently in coordination with the Johannesburg Metro Police, they'll go onto state-owned land like they did during lockdown and violently evict people who've settled there, squatters. Even if they've been there for 5 or 10 years, they'll go remove them and take them off the property. I mean, honestly, this is absolutely insane to see what is happening now. And we don't even know the update on Seshego because the media's not covering it. Complete blackout on this. SABC covered the story as it unfolded, and that's why we know about it. But there have been no updates of what happened as they occupied the land and demanded services. Now the same thing is happening outside of East London, and what is the government doing about it? If the government doesn't do anything about it, South Africa will quickly become, it's already a failed state, it will become a collapsed state. A failed state's one thing. That means the government doesn't provide services, but a collapsed state means chaos and anarchy. And we saw that in Zimbabwe. Well, we've seen it in Somalia as well. So I don't know what to say, folks, other than that I don't know why people are gaslighting you. What's with AgriSA misleading you, telling you that there are no land invasions, there are no land grabs? It simply isn't true. It's happening. And here's some footage of what happened outside of Fort Jackson earlier today, the 17th of February, 2025. And as if that's not enough for you, here's a few comments from the folks who stole land in Seshego in Limpopo province at the beginning of February.
So the community members took it upon themselves to come here to invade this land, to build shacks, and also to demarcate stands for themselves.
And of course, their argument for taking it was that the president signed the law and we can do it now. Utter nonsense. Sheer lunacy. This cannot be tolerated.
To the other side of the Matlala Road to continue to expropriate this land, and they are saying that they understand the new law which was signed by the President Cyril Ramaphosa 2 weeks ago, the Land Expropriation Act, saying that it also empowers them to continue to expropriate this land, particularly because it's not being used.
I don't care if you're black, white, or brown. If you own property, you have a right to it. Private property rights are sacrosanct. And the fact that South Africa has abrogated that with the expropriation without compensation law, with nil compensation, which means zero ANC. I can read a dictionary. Apparently you think we can't. They have violated the terms of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, and the fact that President Trump hasn't removed them from that list is shocking at this point. I'm not advocating for them being removed. I'm just telling you that it's shocking that the law says you cannot be a participant and get duty-free access to the American market if you don't respect property rights. By passing an act and signing into law, which Ramaphosa did, either on the 20th of December or the 23rd of February, take your pick which date you want, he's abrogated private property rights, and South Africa is no longer eligible for AGOA. So why are they still in it? You know, instead of attacking America and claiming that Trump is beating up and punishing South Africa, perhaps politicians in South Africa, academics and elites should start paying attention to the fact that Trump hasn't sanctioned South Africa and hasn't removed it from AGOA. Yet you still run out there and lie about America and lie about what's going on in South Africa. You better wake up, or it's going to get very ugly for a lot of people. Like, honestly, it's beyond comprehension, the behavior of South African politicians and elites in the face of what is a very real concern. Well, thanks a lot, folks. Appreciate your patronage. Be sure to hit the like button, share a comment if you like, and share this video as far and wide as possible. Cheers.
Training saying that they are going to continue to, expropriate this land without compensation. They're saying that they're going to invade each and every land around Seshego.